All right, so we're back. We're going to go over the injury report for both teams, the New Orleans Saints and the Dallas Cowboys. We are less than 24 hours away from this thing kicking off. Week 2 has already started. You saw the game on Thursday night. Tua Tagovailoa went out. That's a whole nother video we can go into. But we're on that topic of injuries and things that have happened during preseason and into the beginning of this year, marking week 1 with a couple of notables. So for the Saints right now, what we're looking at is everything up top here, full participation. You could expect for some of these people to be starters or rolled in and out of coverages. Also, you have to look at the limited participation. So Lucas Patrick, their guard, and Rashid Shaheed, they show to be limited participation, not questionable. Meaning, there's a very good chance that those two guys get to go ahead and go. Did not participate, questionables and outs. You're looking at Fuaga, which is a very, very big deal. Him not potentially playing could play in our favor. Again, I'd love to be able to say, hey, I want to face them at their best. That way, whenever the outcome happens, we don't have any excuses. If we lost, hey, you know what? We just weren't as good as them. If we win, it wasn't because they were shorthanded. But Fuaga is a big one that I anticipate within the next 24 hours, it being completely clear whether he's going to go or not. Kalen Saunders is out. Marshawn Lattimore is questionable. So those two guys, Fuaga and Lattimore, were the biggest things that I think we were really concerned about, seeing if they were going to be listed as questionable or listed as out. And with them having a questionable designation, that means that both of these guys have a more than 50% chance of playing. So that means that I would just expect for you to see both Fuaga and Lattimore, whether it's at a limited participation in the game or a full participation in the game. Lattimore's a very, very big starter for them. Having him in that backup or in the DB room is a very, very critical thing for the Saints. Him not being on the field would open up the playbook tremendously for Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott to be able to push the ball down the field. Look for us to do more short and intermediate routes. If Lattimore is in coverage with CeeDee Lamb, you're going to see him play a lot in the slot style wide receiver role. Your DeMarco Jackson is out. Brian Breesy is questionable, and Isaiah Foskey is questionable. So those last two guys, those are kind of rotational guys, if I'm not mistaken. But the two back injuries are the things that I am most concerned about if I'm a Saints fan or if I'm, a player for the Saints, to say that we could possibly be losing these two guys multiple times throughout the year. Back injuries are not something you just wake up and know, coach, I'm good to go, let's go. Back pains, back injuries, back situations, those things pop up and it's sporadic. You don't expect it. You wake up and you're just not good. Or, hey, halfway through the day, all of a sudden you start getting spasms or you start getting, situations that it's pain, it's aching, it's, a nagging injury. That's something that it's hard to recover from altogether. Operations and stuff may ease some of the pain. But if you're anywhere near the age that I'm at, you understand what back pain really is, and it's not something to play with. It limits you in everything that you do. For the Dallas Cowboys, full participation, C.J. Goodwin and Marshawn Kneeland are back in the rotation. They've been officially released. They're good to go. That means that in the last 3 days, they've participated and ramped up to the point where now they expect for them to be fully good to go, fully released, back in action. The DNPs are John Stevens, which is a big one, and Jake Ferguson, which is the monstrous situation here. With Jake Ferguson being doubtful is less than optimistic than questionable. Doubtful is very, very bad. That means that there's less than a 50% chance that he could play, meaning that I would put him as a out designation about an hour before the game. It'll probably be listed as he's out. I don't think it's a good idea to play him anyway, not because I think it's not a big deal with the Saints, but because I think that you're going to absolutely need him to be 100% for the Baltimore game, for the next couple of games thereafter. I mean, if you look at the schedule of what's coming up on our lineup of teams to play here coming up, That's a big one. The Ravens is a big one next weekend. However, it only gets into the meat of the schedule after week 3. But the big reason why I say the John Stevens thing is very, very big is because he's a backup. He is a guy that you want to have good to go and ready to go in case of a Ferguson or a Hendershot. Well, Hendershot's not even with us anymore. Hendershot is now in Kansas City. But you've got a couple of other guys that are there in that room that the name is not even coming to mind right now. It's sucks to have another backup tight end that's not available. Schoonmaker, that's the guy I was thinking about. So Schoonmaker is going to be able to play, but to what level? We've seen that Schoonmaker doesn't really have the same level of talent that Ferguson has. Ferguson pulls a big level of intense fire into this offense, and he breathes it into the other guys around him. So not having him there tomorrow is going to kind of suck. I'm not going to lie, but I'd rather sit him, even if there's no doubt in their mind he can go. Like zero pain, zero issues, full flexibility, can cut, can do all of the things that he's required to do when he's on the field, when he's blocking, whatever the case may be. Even if there's absolutely no doubt in your mind that he can do it, I think it's safe to say you let him sit one more week and just do another ramp-up process to gear up for that Baltimore matchup, because that Baltimore matchup, you're going to need him to be 100% regardless. If you risk it and put him out there and he has a situation where he goes down in the third quarter and you've lost him for the season, you're going to regret not setting him for 1 week. If you can sit him for 4 quarters and get him for 14, 15 weeks straight without any issues, I think that's the route you go. But anyway, so the tight end room is looking very, very ugly. It's mirroring our linebacker room that we had issues with last year at the end of the season. Our tight end room is starting to look that way, and it's not good for it to be a week 2, and we're already dealing with this. However, if you, grand scheme, take the sheet that we have here, the full roster report, and you compare the two, you'd say the Cowboys are in pretty good shape for week 2. The New Orleans Saints have issues all over the board, and a lot of these, like I said, you could pretty much take them all the way off of this list. They don't even need to be there. But there's 6 that are on here that give you cause for concern as you go over to our side, and there's really only 2. So 6-2. It's still a very, very big number. But with all that being said, I think we're in for a very, very good game, a good matchup. The last time we played them was in 2021, and it was a good game. I expect more of the same. The Taysom Hill game that they played in New Orleans was the last time that we saw these two teams match up, and it's been a bit of a back and forth for the most part of the history of these two teams matching up. It's not really been one-sided. However, recently when Dallas wins, they win a lot more convincing than what the Saints do when they win. When the Saints win, it's typically 3 to 5 points. It's not really just an outright, oh my God, 41-12. It's very, very close. There's competition there. But when the Cowboys win, it's, you're not in our league, son. Sit down. Go get back on the porch. And I don't know what version of the Cowboys we're going to get tomorrow. It's not even just about the injuries. It's about so many other things that are on top of that. You know, not taking their pass game seriously. Derek Carr canceling the rock. He can do a very, very good job of picking apart a defense when he's given the protection that he needs, just like any quarterback. But the big thing that scares me the most is their ability to run the ball and their play options. Being able to roll out and make plays on the outside perimeter. We've got to have a replication of what we had last week, where DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons are doing their part on the edge, and it's giving the guys, the linebackers, the ability to roll up and come in and lay that wood and lay the smackdown, as so to speak, on the perimeters. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited about it. Remember, we're logging in at 11:30 tomorrow, and that's Central Standard Time. Those of you who are not following me on Twitch, make sure that you go in right now. You can go ahead and do it now. Get your seat, as so to speak. Go to Twitch. look up the Cowboys Sideline Report. Make sure that you are following and you have the alerts on so that as soon as I go live, you can't forget about it. You just do it. It's that 1-2 click, and you never have to think about it again. It's the beautiful thing about it is that once you do that, I will notify you every time I go live. And then you can log in and you can say, what's up? And we can go on ahead and have a great game day. So like I said, 11:30 we're going to do our kickoff presentation at about 11:51, 11:52. It's about a 7 to 8 minute presentation that I do right before the game. It's our own kickoff presentation. I think it's going to be very, very cool for you guys to get a look at. So make sure you are following me here, following me on Twitch. Leave some comments down below what kind of music you guys want to hear during the live streams, as well as what type of games you might want to start looking at that are outside of the Cowboys games, if you have any recommendations. We're going to be watching kind of on another screen, checking in on the scoreboard for the New York and Washington game because they kick off at noon tomorrow as well. And then Monday, it's Philadelphia hosting Atlanta, and we may live stream for that as well because it's an NFC East matchup. So make sure you guys do all of the following that I just said, and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And we will see you guys at 11:30 tomorrow. Go Cowboys.